All right. Diege! I like your little backdrop there. It looks very cool. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into wax and crypto and the project of Zeus?
Yeah, man. So early 2020, found Zeus. Found Wax. We're big physical collectors with Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, etc. And then found the digital stuff. Started on Wax, like I say, 2020. Started as a user only, but with my background and Letos's background, the other co-founder for Century Studios, which is the studio behind Zos, we decided to release some stuff onto Wax, and it all sort of kind of went from there, you know. So we've been doing it for a couple of years now, and things are starting to ramp up quite quickly, and we're starting to deliver some better quality products now. And it train keeps chewing along.
Very cool. So we just launched your era 3. I guess there's 3 you have different eras for your different just levels of evolution, I guess, new features and stuff like that. You're calling them eras. So that's exciting. And maybe you can start once you screen share here, you can start with just kind of the beginning, because I know you do multiple things now in the game, so maybe you could start with runs and whatever else. If we could start already screen sharing if you want, because that's what I would like for you to show the actual project, the actual game, how to do it, instead of like me trying to fumble through it. I like you to just go through it, and then I'll ask along the way. Same thing with anybody in the chat. If anybody has questions about the project, the game, go ahead and throw them in. It's an AMA, meaning ask me anything. We'll try to cover them, anything that you have. How about we just do that? I'm going to turn your screen share on. Boop. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. So you go to the website and you have this. Era 3 is here. And it's just start from the beginning, kind of a general background of it, and then kind of wherever you want to go with it. Maybe the runs first and kind of what the items mean, the different items, and what you do with them.
Yeah, so essentially this is the landing page. This gives you a little bit more information about Zombie Outbreak Survival and sort of our plans moving forward. So it's always important to check like a project's landing page to understand sort of what they're setting out to do and what they're trying to achieve. So obviously, as you went on the page, you see like a little backdrop video. This is like our trailer that we created on the run-up to the game release. So that gives you like a background story of what's happening in the world. You can click watch full trailer, etc. And then we sort of lay out the plot of the story. So beginning your fight for survival and sort of how to get started with the solo and the team runs, which were released first. And then obviously this gives you a little bit of information about how to play and like what game modes are going to be either coming out or already released. And then this is our roadmap. So this is like a very top level version of our roadmap, and this explains the eras. So era 1 through 6, and we did have era 0 as well, which is like pre-launch. And then, so what we treat the eras as is Zombie Outbreak Survival is one big story. And it's the story of how survivors go through the apocalypse. And, you know, like any good zombie film, zombie movie, it always starts out with someone waking up and then the world isn't quite what they remember, like what it was yesterday. And there's been a virus outbreak, and now you're defending yourself against like your infected parents or neighbors or whatever. And then you have to fight to survive, and then you sort of team up with friends or local people, and then you like bunker down in a stronghold. And then the zombies become more of a passive part of the world, and then the more active danger is other desperate people trying to survive because the supply chain stopped. There's no more food. There's no more weapons, no more supplies. So people then start fighting against each other. You know, we've all seen like The Walking Dead, etc. So it's like, then it becomes about surviving against the other players. And so that's where we are ultimately trying to get to. That's going to be like this huge PvP, in-game, out-of-game, like, you know, people joining other people's Discords as spies and like trying to figure out what people's tactics are to like always defend themselves as best they can and then have the most optimal attacks versus everybody else. So yeah, we're going for this like huge PvP, like, and there's also like a battle royale game mode coming out where that'll be 1 versus like say 100, so that'll be like single player versus everybody else, and then the PvP aspects will be based on who you seek refuge with, so who you essentially team up with, and that comes under the idea of a building. You sort of send your survivor to a building to stay safe, and then that building teams up and then takes on other buildings. So they're the eras. So that's how we sort of manage our releases. And this is obviously the team and some of the communities that are playing ZOS. Yeah. So once you've logged into the game, you're sort of greeted with this homepage. And obviously it's Christmas themed right now. It's the holidays. But essentially what the user experiences here is they can see their resources at the top. They can see news at the bottom. They can see the most featured piece of news. So obviously, Era 3 got released a few weeks ago. So Era 3 is like our hot topic right now. And this obviously gives a little context. So battle, craft, and survive in this new era. So it gives you an idea that battles have now been released and crafting's been released. So those are people that were around in 2021 on WAX that remember our planet. Obviously, this is like our version of an element crafting system, similar to the way our planet did theirs, with a few more like lessons learned from our planet and heavily influenced by the way that our planet adapted or the community adapted to make the our planet process much smoother. We try to implement that from an organic point of view within the game. So the first thing that a player needs to do once they've got themselves some items, so a survivor, weapon, and shield, would be to do some runs to get food.
Okay.
So in the solo runs game mode, this is single player, so you can click new run. And what you essentially see is you see a 4-hour run, 12-hour run, 1 day, 3 day, and 7 day runs. And the player can select these depending on how long they want their survivor to go on an adventure for. And essentially what you do is you send your survivor out, and then after this allotted time, come back, your survivor will have found some loot. And I'll show you that in a moment because I'll be able to claim some multiplayer runs. But essentially what it means is the longer the survivors get sent out for, the better guaranteed rewards they get, which will be the food NFTs, which will help keep the survivor alive, and a better chance at finding a weapon or a shield of a higher rarity. So essentially the player would just select the run duration, and then they would go over to their survivor assets. Obviously mine are all ready to be claimed, so I'll show that in a moment. They would select their survivor, they would select their weapons, which all appear here. They would select their shield, and then they would start run. Or they could add another loadout, another loadout, another loadout, another loadout. This sort of works up until about 18 to 20 loadouts can be sent in one transaction. So again, quite efficient. And then start run, and again, the player will be able to send all them off at the same time. And then under the supply run like umbrella, we have multiplayer as well, and we're really proud of this game mode. This was a massive breakthrough for us. We actually managed to get a multiplayer queue system and a hosting and a joining session mechanic working on the blockchain. We was really proud of this. So this is where we've put our focus last year. And so, yeah, so as you can see here on the team page, on the team runs page, you can see I've got some survivors that are coming back. We can load more, and I can claim them. So for example, for me, efficiency is key. So I'd click claim all. I have to sign my transaction, and now this claims 18 at a time, and then a reward screen will pop up. And then as a player, I can see what I've received. So I can click into these and see, oh, this survivor took 22 damage. He's got 52 health left out of 100. And he received on his run, he found 103 silver, and he killed 39 zombies. And then if I really wanted to, I could look at all of the data from all of my survivors and see the data. None of these guys found any NFTs because these are all on the Christmas special event that's currently ongoing. So the Christmas special event is a better silver multiplier, which is the in-game currency, but it does hold no NFTs in the loot table. So it's purely a silver run. So I can come out of this, and then you can see at the top now my silver balance is updated to 9,555. And then if I was to claim some more, you would see that will refresh from 9,555 to whatever the total is now, 12,301. So you can see there we are like actively updating the currency. Any questions so far?
Not so much. That's cool. Thank you're explaining it well. So yeah, you're going out on runs. It's like a simulation where you have your NFTs, your survivor. He's got his health and whatever his stats, and then you send him out on runs. It's your choice on how far, how long he goes, and then he'll bring back some goodies, and then you're using those goodies in different ways. And then you got your multiplayer, your battle mode. So that's going to be. I do want to see how that kind of works in action, but that's a general consensus of the runs anyway. I think a lot of people are familiar with how runs work in other games. So, but this is cool. It's a zombie survival themed. Yeah, it's a popular genre, like you say, Walking Dead and many movies and different things. So it makes sense. People can relate to getting items like food to keep your survivor strong and stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can carry on. The team, how would you work as a team or multiplayer? How's that all work?
Yeah, so essentially with the team game mode, you can host or you can join runs. So you could either go and you can go host your own run, or you can join a session, and then you can search for your friends that have. So, you can speak to someone and say, oh, let's go do a run together because you've got a mythic weapon and I've got a mythic weapon. So we want to try and get the best rewards. And obviously that's dictated to by the team's overall damage. So if you go and host a run, say, then obviously I know your wallet address. I can go on join session, type your wallet address in and see all of your active to join runs. So that's like a full queue, like party lobby system, like from like traditional gaming. So we was really proud of that. Yeah, so once you've done a run, obviously your survivors have taken damage, and so you need to heal your survivors. So solo runs are the only place that you can get food in game. So what you need to do is you need to do some solo runs, and then once you've done some runs, your survivors will have taken damage. So I've gone to the heal tab now. So obviously ZOS is a resource management game, and the whole point of like a resource management game is to make sure that your resources stay as sustainable and as healthy as possible. And obviously these survivors are our main resource, with them being the main characters in the game. So out of 100 basic health, these guys have taken some damage. This guy didn't take too much, but some of these guys are down quite bad. You can see some orange tabs here. So essentially what we can do is I think we can heal up to 14 guys at a time. There we go. So limited to 14 survivors at a time. And then what we can do is we can move over to our food, and we can take how many we want to heal, select, and then heal. Again, another transaction to the blockchain. And our survivors are healed.
Cool.
So those guys now will all have 100 health. So as you can see, they're all grayed out. Can't select those guys. And then to continue the sort of this process, we would then send some of these guys out on runs again. So I'll send a couple on solo so everyone can see what that looks like now. So solo, new run, as you say. We'll go for a 12-hour run. We will select the survivors that are at 100 health. And then we can select our weapon and shield. So we can see that we've got, these are mythics. This is a mythic sniper rifle. Chainsaws are legendary. Flamethrower legendary, crossbow legendary. You can tell by the banners. And then these are epics, rares, uncommons, and then commons at the bottom. So I'll send an epic out, and then I'll send, again, same thing applies here. Jetpacks are mythic, exoskeletons legendary, and then some epics over here. So we'll send a golden armor. And so you can see essentially what we've got here is one fully ready to go loadout. We can start the run, and then off he goes. And what we will see on here now is we have our run and its details. So obviously our survivor, weapon and shield that have gone out, the damage in which their damage values, and then how long's remaining on that run. And then once it's ready, that'll say claim, and we can either click that or click claim all. Same applies for the team game mode. So what I'll do is I'll host a few sessions of the new Christmas caroling session. So if anybody's got some survivors ready to go, then I'll send some mythics out and some legendaries so that people can join in with the best gear. So essentially, here we go. There you go. So that's the mythic, and this is a mythic. So that's like the best setup that you can send out right now. And then if I wanted to make this quicker, because I've obviously not got too much time on my hands, I can click autofill, of the weapon and the shield. So players can send quite a few survivors out at once by clicking this autofill. And what that essentially does is it takes your best weapon, your best shield, and then auto-populates it. So if you wanted to send a load out at once, you can just do so. And then you can see here, obviously all of these transactions are all bundled together and send. And then they're all sent together. So now if we was to go on my sessions on here, we're waiting for teammates. And then as people start to join this, they'll be able to join, and I'll see that my friends have joined me on these runs.
Okay, so that's
cool.
so this isn't the battle part. This is
this is still
team,
this is still runs, yeah.
Team runs, and you're combining efforts then. So the more so you're equipping items with your survivor. You had the shield and your weapon, and so the better things equipped, the better your survivor will do then, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the premise of it. So the idea is to get as best weapons and best shields as you possibly can, and keep your survivors alive. And then obviously if you was to join the game and only have a common or an uncommon, the idea is to do some runs, generate some wealth in game, and then either trade or sell those assets or upgrade those assets and get a higher rarity. And the idea is obviously to get as many survivors with as good weapon and shields as they can possibly have, so that when you come into the realms of taking on other players in terms of PvP, etc., and you have the best gear available to make sure that the odds are in your favor.
Nice. Yeah, let's look at the PvP after our grubfish, but while we're still here on the runs, so you get food items on the solo runs. Are you getting any of these items like weapons and shields from runs, or is there the only way?
Yeah, so absolutely. So the idea is that on the solo runs, you get food guaranteed, and then a chance at an NFT weapon or a shield. The food is guaranteed, but the weapons and shields are like loot system based. So like there's a drop table with percentage chances, a bit like when you play RuneScape or World of Warcraft when you're doing raids. There's only a certain drop chance. So someone potentially might need to run 10, 15, 20 runs before they see an NFT drop for a weapon or a shield, and then that's not guaranteed to be an upgrade. So but there's lots of utility with the weapons and shields. They're not just used as weapons and shields, they can be recycled and scrapped, and that gets into the crafting game mode.
Yeah, the crafting.
We'll come on to.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll look at that next too. There's a bunch of stuff with crafting, making your items better, getting new items, stuff like that. So that's cool. What else? So you do runs, and you get a guaranteed food item. You might get another item, and then when are you earning the silver? Is that only on team runs, or?
Yeah, so that's only so the two big things about supply runs is solo equals food, team equals silver.
Okay. How many people do you need on a team? Just two, or do you need multiple?
It's three. But what happens is after, I think it's about 3 minutes. After a 3-minute delay, which gives people a chance to join their friends, after a 3-minute delay, any open runs where there's players available to join, the system auto match makes. So if you're a host and I'm a host and nobody's joined mine or your game, then me and you will be paired together. And then when a third host happens, then that third person will get paired after a couple of minutes, and then so we will then all go send out on a run. So so there's nobody like left behind. So you won't send a run and then be waiting like 6 days to find two people that want to specifically join you. After a few, maybe 20 minutes, there'll be everybody paired up together, and then you get sent out automatically.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, that's a nice little lowdown on the runs. So you can do solo runs to get your food items, which heal your survivor, because every run you go, your survivor is going to lose some health, so you need those food items to regenerate. And then you can get a percentage chance of getting items like the weapons and the shields. And then if you do the team runs, you can get the same stuff, but you also get silver. Is that right? So you're in the team runs, you still get food and items, but then you also get silver on top.
You don't get the food. You don't get the food in the team runs.
So solo runs will get your food. Okay. Yeah. And the silver is a token, which we'll talk about how it's used here next after the grub. Is the game playable on mobile? Asks Funkin. Is it mobile friendly?
Yeah, so we really try to be as mobile optimized as possible. It's a browser-based game. We have optimized for most screen resolutions across Android and iOS. Under like Chrome and Safari, etc. We really try to be optimized. We're not going to guarantee that the quality is the same as on desktop because it's just not. Like the desktop, obviously, is the layout is a lot smoother, but optimized for mobile as best as possible.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, you can. Oh, here, CasPR says it's great on mobile. That's great. So you can. It's on browser, so you can try on browser, logging in with your Wax there and doing it. Where it's only action based, it's just your runs. I feel like it ought to work on mobile. Here we see some prizes. So the first place will get a Survivor booster pack. What kind of things does this have? It says contains one Survivor asset. Oh, it's an actual Survivor character?
Yeah, so these packs, you just open it up and then there's a Survivor inside. So that gives you essentially, the main character. The Survivors are our population, if you'd like. So they're like, if you've got one Survivor, you can send one Survivor out on runs, but you have to have Survivors to play the game. Mm-hmm. And without the Survivors, you really can't really do that whole much. You can craft, you can obviously buy assets and craft and try and attempt crafts, but you're not going to be self-sustainable without Survivors. So there are like population in game.
Gotcha. Sorry if my voice is too loud. I can't tell that. Here, testing. So let me know. Yeah, thank you, 420. Let me know if my voice is too loud. So here, oh great. So the Survivor booster pack gets you that. And here's some food items. Here's a bread and chips and canned food. Some various items, and I guess they're, depending on what those items are, they're going to give you more or less health when you use them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, the foods have rarities from like healing minimum to like healing maximum, and then a little like stop points in between, like healing medium, healing high, healing max. So yeah,
cool.
They're really good.
Cool.
That's all dictated to on the script screen as well. Like you can see all of that in the healing menus in the game.
Mm-hmm. What are the base NFTs you need to start playing? Asks Funkin. So you need
one Survivor, one weapon, one shield. Like that is the bare minimum, and that can be picked up quite cheap on the secondary market. We also have an in-game store. One Survivor, one weapon, one shield. And the idea, if you was to just start off with just the very minimum, then you would need to do some solo runs to gather some food. And then once you've done some solo runs to gather food, you might want to try and do a multiplayer run, which will get you some silver. You could then either sell that silver on the like exchanges, or you can like upgrade weapons and shields with the silver from the in-game store, and then you can become self-sufficient. You can find 5 or 6 NFTs, weapons and shields, some upgrades, either upgrade your own loadout or sell those to other players and try and buy a second Survivor. So it's very much a resource management game, and a game where you can get in for very like low barrier to entry and work your way up with time and strategy, work your way up to being one of the top players. I think some of our top players are running hundreds of Survivors now.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Yeah, let me know if my audio's still no good here. I guess I went too low. Now I'm back. It's hard for me to do it without testing, so let me know. We're going to do a grubfish. Yeah, cool. So thanks for this first explanation. We will look into what, after the grubfish, we'll look into what silver is used for, and the PvP and some other things. So there's still more to look at. I'm sure there's all sorts of stuff coming in the future as well, which we can maybe touch on. It's on you how much you want to reveal. So first place we'll get this the booster pack, and then we'll do 10th. Oh man, we got 66 people. That's nuts, guys. Let's do 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th, and 60th. We'll all get a food NFT. So on the 10s, food NFT. First place gets a booster pack, and then the top grub killers also get a food NFT as well. All right. Thank you all for being here. This is great. Thank you for being here. I stream every Thursday doing AMAs. So this is great to have this many people and to have Diege on here in Zombie Outbreak Survival. We've had it scheduled for a little bit. I've been excited. I've been seeing it all over the place. I know you've been promoting on different places. I've seen you on other streams, so it's really cool to have you here too.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. And if you have any other questions, we will go over them next as well. Here we go. Good luck. Explosions! People going for those biggest grub killers. Good luck! That first place might be the one you might want to go for, though. That's a good one. The Survivor Pack. That's a good one. So much killers. Well, we're about to find out. We're about to find out who killed the most. And as we continue here, we'll keep talking with Diege, but then after we're done the interview, I will continue Grubfish, though there's a number of more prizes from other collections coming as well. And I do this every Thursday, so I'll be back in 1 week with Cosmos 11, and then we'll have a new collab every week. Usually we also have trivias on Tuesday, and we also have our own NFT collection, but currently we're on a little break, a little hiatus, while I'm working on many other things, but the weekly collabs are still coming. So stay tuned, follow. Appreciate y'all being here. You're not late to the party. I mean, I guess a little late, but yeah, not too late. There's definitely plenty more to come. Congratulations! Congratulations, Gazaka! Gazaka! You got that booster pack. Well done. Well done. And then we're gonna give a food item, a food NFT from Zos to Chucky and to Demi Berlin, Buzz King, and then I got the others up here. And it'll be Viraman got 40th, Lucky Nino got 50th, Percy Flame got 60th. You all get a food item. And then here's what our grub killers look like. Looks like Demi Berlin got... Oh, Lucky Nino. Oh, man, some of you guys really destroyed some grubs on this one. Lucky Nino with 21. You will get a food NFT item as well. And shouts to Grimace and Demi Berlin for also doing a heck of a job there. I'm going to hit play again. You guys can join again, and we'll come back to it in like 15 minutes or so. We're going to talk some more Zos. Boom, boom. And the next Grubfish will also have more food items, as well as mystery boxes. So, exclamation mark play in your wallet. Alright, cool. So you explained the run features. Yeah, can you go into maybe the PvP section of it and how Silver is used and kind of the benefits around that and anything else?
Yeah, so actually PvP is not released yet.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay.
look at this. So you can see here, I've just refreshed my runs page. You can see people have started to join me. So this is pretty cool. People have started to join. You can see people are joining. I'm waiting for one more teammate on some of these runs, and then they'll get sent off. Yeah, so Era 3, so battles and crafting. So
crafting, yeah, crafting's a big deal. So definitely go and show how that's done. How the actual crafting part is done.
Yeah. So Era 3 released, and we released battles and crafting. So these are some more of our like intermediate game modes. The supply runs are the beginner game modes, very basic, very simple to understand, whereas battles and crafting, these are for like more either people that fully understand the game, that have been around for a while, or used to these kinds of games anyway, like resource management, strategy battlers, those kinds of things. So, sorry about this. So battles is essentially an idea of these different, like, you now see them behind the curtain of when a survivor goes out on a run, what do they come in contact with? And so, whereas in supply runs, you send the survivor, you stay at the door of the stronghold and you wave the survivor off, and then they come back in 7 days' time and they go, "Look, boss, I found this." In this game mode, you're essentially out on the run with the person, and you can see the bosses that they come up against. So in supply runs, we only take on zombies, and that's like the sort of themage there. Like, you know, we only come across bosses, but then we're on the hunt for these mutant zombie bosses that have now appeared on the outskirts of town in 3 different environments. So
Cool.
here we have the battling screen, and what I've done here is I've submitted a survivor and their weapon and their shield that they're going to be using to fight the bosses. And the concept here is that the survivor has some stamina, and they also have 1,000 health this time, not 100. So they've got a lot more health, but that also means a lot more healing. So the survivor is on his journey, on his adventure, and he comes across this boss at the airfield. And this boss at the airfield is called Hush, and Hush is a assassin boss. So he's very quiet, stealthy, and so I need to think to myself, am I going to beat Hush in a fight if he's like a stealthy boss? And we're also in an Overwatch environment, and Overwatch is like long distance weapons.
Okay.
So for me, my weapon has direct correlation to the environment that we're in, because if I've got a long distance weapon in a long distance environment, then I'll be successful. Very, very happy with that. And then the boss type is direct correlation to what loot I receive. So you can see all of that here. So the damage incoming is fixed against the rarity of my shield, which is epic. So I'll be taking 50 damage every fight, and that'll come straight off my health. And then I will also take 25 stamina for fighting this boss. So that will go down to 225. This will go down to 700, and I will obviously have to heal those at some point. But what I will receive in return of this is some of these currencies up top. So these are the resource tokens that directly feed crafting. So we have wood, stone, metal, electricity, and gunpowder. These are called elec and explo, and then convert into wires and gunpowder. So again, back to the UI. Damage incoming 50, so I'll take 50 damage, and my attack style in this environment is neutral, so it's not super effective, but it's not like minimal effective, so it might still be worth fighting the boss. And then my reward type, I'm going to get some stone, or I can run away at the cost of 10 silver. I can run away and I will come into contact with a different boss. So just for the sake of the stream, we will fight this boss in a neutral environment. So we'll go and do a battle. Hopefully this all works nice and smooth, because I've not battled in a while. But we sign our transaction, and there you go. So we get another reward screen, and we see that in slot 1, so this survivor that we've got in slot 1, I received 19 stone. Now that's not very much at all. So a neutral environment, probably not ideal to be fighting in. So again here, so there you see now I've gone down to 225 rather than 250, and I've gone from 750 health down to 700, all of which needs healing. So I could heal that, so click heal, and again my food appears. I can click on my food, and it'll tell me how much healing I need to do here, and then the value, and then I can select it and go and heal it all. I don't need to, because I've still got 700, and I know I'm only going to take 50 damage, but when I get down to like 50 health, I'm going to need to heal, because if I die, then my survivor dies and I need to revive him. And that's just, again, part of the resource management we don't want to have to do. So here we have a least effective environment. So this is the hospital, and the hospital is a close quarters environment. That's no good for a silenced pistol. Silenced pistol does very well in the assassin environment, which is the woods. So we're going to run away. So we run away because we don't want to fight this guy in the hospital. We re-roll our boss, and perfect. We get Smasher in the woods. So this is super effective for us. Again, we'll still take 50 damage, but this time we're against Smasher, so we'll save wood, and we will battle him, because that is a super effective environment for us makes sense. So previously we got 19. Now I'm in a super effective. I got 80. So big difference. So this is much better for us, and this is with a middle of the road weapon as an epic with 80. So you can imagine a mythic is a few hundred, legendaries 100, 200. Epics are obviously like sort of top out at 100, and then like commons are just not worth using in this game mode, commons and uncommons. So this is like the battle sort of concept. And then the only other thing that we can do is we can choose our attack style card. So because we have a assassin weapon, we can choose an assassin attack style card. These are purchasable for silver in the in-game store, and we have tier 1, 2, and tier 3. So what I've been telling players is that what these do a damage buff onto your attack that you're going to do to the boss, and they essentially get you more rewards. But they are, like, if you go for the tier 3 stuff, they are expensive to get in terms of silver, so you need to balance up the opportunity cost of what's more important, silver or the attack style cards. And I would only use attack style cards when my weapon attack style is super effective. So I'm not going to use it now, but here you can see this is a way of buffing your attack, so you can confirm that. Now I've got a little damage multiplier here. I can attack the boss, and then I will use one of my points of this. It'll run out, but you'll see a big difference in what you actually get. So let me try and find another super effective environment just to show you guys that. There we go, perfect. So we did just receive, I think it was 90 of the resource token for Smasher in the woods. So we're going to use this tier 2 now and fight this guy and see how that goes. So let's do that.
Cool. Thanks for the cheer there, FTM. Appreciate. King Kong asked what the starter kit has. Yeah, so and then you have people answering. So thank you guys for answering. And the items can be used for any era. I guess that's also a question that's answered. So what we're looking at here is a battle. It's not actually PvP, right? You're battling.
This is AI based. This is just algorithmic battling against the AI. So you can see here, obviously the previous one in the same environment, same weapon, everything. We received around 90 of the resource token, and then using that tier 2 upgrade, we got 172. So, you know, there's that opportunity cost strategy sort of question that people need to ask themselves: what's worth more to me, those tier upgrades or the rewards that I'll get for using them? So this is battles, and this essentially feeds crafting. So let's move to crafting now.
And to reiterate the battles, so it's like a strategy. It's definitely a lot more than runs here. It's almost like almost if you were going to try to compare to a Pokemon battle or something.
Well, yeah. So Pokemon gave us quite an influence on this, on the super effective.
Yeah, like, right. The effectiveness. You have different you have different items that are more effective on the environment and the type of your boss than others, which makes sense. You have it making sense per the environment and the survival. Yeah. So I dig it. It requires some different strategy. Depends what you have. Depends what you want to do. You can even choose to run away. So that does add a lot more to the game. And then that's going to help you get items to craft with. So yeah, go ahead and continue with the crafting.
Yeah, so then we move on from this. So now I've gathered some more resources. I've got these resource tokens, and I can go to crafting. Now, crafting is, it can be as complicated or as simple as you like, right? So we really sort of took influence from the likes of Minecraft and like some other elemental like crafting games, and tried to understand what players enjoy and what we enjoy as players and end users of a crafting system, whilst also trying to make it exciting for like blockchain. So what we did is we came up with this idea that you'll have obviously your in-game items, and you can either just craft the stuff that people have already found, or you can try and invent something. So essentially, coming full circle back to runs, back to supply runs, you've found some NFTs, you've upgraded your weapons, you've upgraded your shields, you're now no longer using your commons, your uncommons, your rares, your epics, you've now got legendaries and mythics, you're up there at the top echelons of the survivor community, and you're in the town and you're the big dog, but you've got this huge weapons supply cache in your HQ, or you're seeking refuge, where you've bunkered down your base. You've got all these weapons taking up space. And so the market trader Brutus, who's in the game, has said to you, do you know what? You don't need those anymore. Recycle them with me. Come and scrap them in my wood chipper, and I'll give you resource tokens that get spat out by my modified wood chipper. So what we can do here is we can see our scrap management. So scrap your gear NFTs for resource tokens. Scrapped assets are destroyed by Brutus's wood chipper. Resource tokens are added to your in-game wallet, right? So these are NFTs in my Wax wallet. I can select them. I can see what resource tokens I'm going to receive for scrapping them with Brutus, and I can select the quantity as well. So like my my knight's armor there, I can see I'm going to get 1250 metal. That's quite a lot. Whereas you seen earlier on battles, I was getting with an epic weapon in a super effective environment, I was getting 90. So 1,250 is quite a lot compared to that. So the NFTs themselves now hold a intrinsic value for these resource tokens. So I could go ahead and scrap 10, I'd get 12,500, so on and so forth. But just for the concept of the stream, I'll craft 2 of these. So scrapping these NFTs, send them to Brutus to put in his wood chipper, and now I've got some more metal. So there you go. And that's like the full circle back to supply runs and why they're important, and how even the smallest players or the players that only want to do runs, they can still participate in crafting without having to battle. So there are 2 options on how to feed your battling, how to feed your crafting resources, and go from there. So when we release buildings, and we start getting into the final stages of Era 4, 5, 6. The players that don't necessarily like the battling game mode, that's quite strategic, and you need to put some thought into it, that just want to do their runs as more of a passive game mode, then those guys can still play that as well. So we're trying to cater for everybody's play style. Cool. And then everybody can still play the later game modes as well. So this is scrap management. Again, for weapons, it's the same. And then we also have this box icon, and that's for some stuff that you can buy in the in-game store, which we'll get onto soon. So that's the scrap management tab. And then we have the resource token management tab. So this is where you actually start buying your basic crafting elements with resource tokens. So buy basic elements. This is essentially, it's 1 to 100. So for so I've got 500 wood here. I'd be able to buy 5 logs. So as you can see here, 1 logs equals 100 Z wood. And I would be able to buy as many as I like up until my limit reaches out. The same for metal. I could buy up to 32 of these because I've got 3,200. I'd be able to buy those. And then Explo and Elec we'll come on to in a moment, because you can't actually get those through battling. So stones, again, I could buy a couple of stones. I won't buy that many. But again, I'll just submit this transaction. Those resource tokens are taken away from me, and as you can see now in my in-game wallet, they're now updated, their new quantities. So I've got 10 metal, I've now got 6 logs rather than the 1, and I've got 27 stones rather than the 18 that I had, or whatever it was. So now I can look at the recipe book. So here's the recipe book, and we can see what's been discovered and who by, and what's still outstanding. So all of the tier 1s have been discovered. So the crafting tools, these sit in the center box of every recipe. So you'll be able to see if I can find something that's undiscovered. Basic workshop, for example. We click on the basic workshop, and we know that, so it's a tier 2, so it has a tier 2 crafting tool sat in the middle, and we know that these are the boxes that require an item in them. So this is how the player can indicate what they're looking at. So they can try and pinpoint a specific craft that they're trying to do, looking at the model of how it's crafted, and then they can try and attempt, and they can just drag and drop their different items into that recipe, click the picture, and then submit it, and off it goes, and then it'll let them know if they're successful or failed. And then we can go to nets. You can see these different ones that haven't been discovered yet, so they're telling people what's available and what's not available to be found.
Wow, so there's all sorts of stuff to craft there, and you're saying that people have to discover recipes, is that right? So you have
so it's a
secret recipes?
Yeah, so it's an invention crafting model. So okay. You can see here, so this, for example, bandages was discovered by this Wax wallet. So some lucky so-and-so, attempted this craft. They put put their tier 2 crafting tool in, which they knew about, and they knew that these were available to be found. So what they attempted to do was put cloth in this to create bandages. They were successful, and now that's there for everybody to see. And when they crafted that, they actually got a reward. So we can talk about that in a moment. And yeah, so there's 5 tiers of items, and there was, when we launched Era 3, there was 59 items to be found. Tier 1s have now all been found, so shout out to the guys that found these.
Nice. So they start out all hidden, and somebody has to uncover the recipe first, and then it's there for everyone. But that first person's gonna get something
yeah,
nice
they get a nice reward for it.
Okay,
and
great.
obviously
I like that concept.
Have it. So yeah, tier 2s, tier 3s. There's quite a few tier 3s. All unknown, I think. Yeah, nobody's found a tier 3 yet. So shout out the first person that finds that. Then tier 4s, and then only 1 tier 5. But these are very, very expensive to craft, and let alone craft successfully. Like, these attempts are expensive. So, you know, this is like sort of late game stuff. This is what the buildings are going to be upgraded by. Oh, it's just to again explain why crafting exists. Crafting is there to find blueprints. So everything is a crafting element, but some of the elements are blueprints, and those blueprints will be real upgrades for the buildings. So if you're a building owner and you want to do an upgrade, say to you want to add an armory to the building, you can get an armory blueprint, add it to your building, and then you and your team that are in that building will need to then go and find a load more resource tokens that you find them passively in the game whilst playing, and then they will go towards the armory upgrade that's been submitted via that blueprint. And then once that gets to 100% complete, then that upgrade will go live, which will provide either passive or active buffs to the survivors that are aligned to that building. So, you know, for example, armory could be, because we haven't released any of this yet, armory could be that when you do a PvP battle with your team and go and try and fight another building, it might allow you to take 10 more weapons rather than the basic 5, say, that you're allowed to take. It might give you 10 more for that armory upgrade. And then you'll be able to upgrade it to an armory level 2, say, and then that will give you access to more weapons or a higher rarity of weapon to go and take on that fight against PvP against other people. And the idea is find the inventions, get those upgrades complete on your building first to have an advantage when you PvP against other people, because if you've got that armory upgrade first, you're going to have the buff, and the people that you're fighting against don't.
Nice. So not only are people uncovering recipes, but then these items will be crafted, and you're going to build buildings, and then it's going to be like, that's going to be part of your team. You're like, that's the PvP. So now this building is your team, and you're using it to your advantage. It's like you're building. It's almost like a metaverse, but without the actual 3D part. Do you have planned to in the future one day have like an actual 3D game, or is it? Or do you like this whole strategy, click type concept?
No comment.
No comment. Okay. Well, it's really cool. You have a vision for the future though, and I like the concept of buildings and just more and more. Every era brings more. And then the people that have been here and have been playing, that this adds a lot more to them, while new people can kind of start where they want. They might start at the runs, and as they pick it up, they can participate in these other things like battles and things.
Yeah, exactly. And, so coming from WAX and coming from the communities that we've been part of, and again, going back to this section here, the communities that are playing WAX, the Web3 concept and the blockchain concept and crypto and this world that we all live in, online, offline, on the blockchain, off the blockchain, Web2, Web3, and all this, it's all connected. Mm-hmm. And so what we really are pushing for with ZOS is that, yes, our game is blockchain powered, and yes, our communities are sat on Web2 apps like Discord and Telegram, and they're decentralized to us. These are run by other community members, content creators, influencers, leaders in the space. You've got Sammy Snake here, Any Observation, Burst of Energy for Atomic Kings. There's some really, really, really important communities that we interact with on the day-to-day basis. And so not only will the game, like what we've seen in Web 2 is most games happen in the game, and you have clan chat and party chat and friend chat and then public chat. but none of that happens off chain. And so Discord has really allowed for that to come outside of the game, and you know, players have their own like fan base discords or their community discords, guild discords, etc. And
yeah.
Web3 is really driving that. And what we really want to do is have the game be played on the chain, on the site, on the game app, but also in the chats and in the discords and in the communities. So that's like real world like application.
Yeah,
and so
it's beautiful because you have it set up where you're able to, you have these teams, so it's like it makes sense to create factions and things and communities that communicate together on their strategy, especially if they're owning a building and things like that. Now you're actually working on a team, and you're going to want to work together on how you're going to do different things. So Discord, I think it's a great way to do things like that.
Absolutely.
That adds a lot more community into the game other than just playing the game. You're actually working together to achieve something. So it's really awesome. You got your Discord for that.
We're really excited. Like we really want to see, I mentioned it earlier, we really want to see people getting, you know, kicked out of other people's Discords for being like a spy, you know, or you know, building a bit of a relationship with, say, the Sammy Snake community and getting into their inner circle and understanding what their next move is in the PvP world of Zos, and then feeding that back to, say, the Good Vibes mining community and saying, oh, you need to be prepared for this, and like a bit of treachery, a bit of, you know, backstabbing and all that sort of good competitive Game of Thronesy style like treachery, and then that all happens away from the game. That's all happening in the community chats, and then. So Sammy then has to then go back and change his plans because there's been a traitor amongst them, and
yeah, exactly.
You know, like, and then you know, we really want to get to a point where like people are making content on the 5 biggest battles this week in Zos. You know, headlines in media and blog creation where people are saying, you know, this happened this week on Zos, or the top 5 biggest losers in Zos this month, and like a 2022 wrap up of this is what happened this year on Zos, etc. And like we're really trying to build this huge like warfare masterpiece that comes within the zombie genre of like playing with this concept of the metaverse, playing with this concept of like what's the best practice from Web 2, and all of these communities with some very you know, rich in talent players. Like we're not just collectors, we're not just you know, we're not just collectors, we're not just crypto enthusiasts. Like some of these players in these communities are some of the best players, best game minds in the world, and how that strategy can come to life within our game, blockchain, the community chats, etc. So that's what we're driving towards, and I feel like we're laying the foundations now to really make that happen. And by doing this relatively simple idea of a game mode, you know, this like web browser based, you know, it's not a game as we all know Web 2 gaming to be today. You know, you Fortnite's, Call of Duty's, you know, your World of Warcraft's, Destiny. It's not a game like that, but it's a strategy game nonetheless. It's you know, you have to focus, you have to make sure that your resource tokens are plentiful. You need to make sure that you are doing your timing correctly, making sure your runs come back and then are efficient, optimizing things the best you can, and then also building these relationships with players for that when the PvP does come out, then you guys are prepared to not be lone wolves.
Yeah.
But then amongst all of that, there's things going on in the background, and what happens after Era 6 is still redacted. Nobody knows. When we ain't releasing any of that. But we have big plans for the future, and this is where Zos currently is, and we're really proud of where Zos is right now. So
yeah.
I suppose some of the other things that we've got going on. So this is obviously crafting, and then you can take your NFTs in and out of the game. So these currently aren't NFTs. So that are in my in-game wallet. These are not NFTs. These are in-game assets, but you can withdraw these via our NFT bridge and withdraw them to your WAX wallet. So I could, you know, select this, select 2. There's a small silver fee to mint the NFTs, and that is purely to stop bad actors like minting and depositing, which will burn the asset, minting, depositing, burning, minting, depositing. So we've put a little fee in there just to stop people doing that, and it becomes not worth them doing that and trying to like abuse the system. So You could withdraw these now, put them on Atomic Hub, sell them, etc. And then alongside all this, yeah, it's good to have the gameplay aspects, but you also need some of the more ancillary systems, you know, your support systems, such as an in-game store. So this in-game store is Brutus's Bazaar. So this is the guy that's been throwing your weapons and your armor into a wood chipper. He's a bit of a nomad, bit of a travel salesman type guy. He comes into town and tries to sell his wares, and you know, he's got all that going on. And so what he does is he offers a raft of different upgrades, you know, resource pouches, different booster packs, etc. So as you can see here, he's got medkits. Medkits are for survivors that have been killed in action and need a revive. So this medkit, so if you don't look after your resources and you don't look after your survivors and they go to 0 health, you're going to need to go to Brutus and buy one of these. That's 200 silver. You know, you've got your attack style cards. So these are basic level 1 attack style cards for the battles game mode. And if you buy 5 of these, I think it's 5, you can upgrade them to a tier 2. And then the same for tier 2 into tier 3. And then obviously their bonuses. These here are upgrade paths for weapons and shields. So these are weapon upgrades. You can go common to uncommon, uncommon to rare, rare to epic, all the way up to mythic. So you can be self-sustainable if you earn enough silver, find enough NFTs. You can actually work your way up the upgrade path all the way up to mythic from common, which is pretty cool. We wanted to make sure that we could have the players like be self-sustainable, because that's like one of the core concepts of a resource token, like a resource management game, is that you don't need to interact with the community, but you can if you want to. So then we have the Survivor booster packs are actually all out of stock right now. So the ones that you guys have got are pretty rare because they're not in stock anymore. They've all sold out, and they were 100 wax each. So they all sold out. And then we do have the supply run starter kits. So these are, you know, it says what it is on the tin. You have everything you need to start your adventure. 1 Survivor booster pack. So that's again a Survivor. 1 weapon, 1 shield, and 3 medium food crates. And so I suppose it's a good time to talk about the creator code system. So everything that Brutus wants to sell you is at a normal price. So this, for example, is 250 wax. However, Brutus really respects the idea of affiliate marketing and having other survivors tell other survivors about Brutus being in town. So what Brutus has set up is a system where other survivors can, you know, influential survivors, content creators, community owners can speak to Brutus and say, I've got a secret passcode, and if anyone uses that secret passcode with you, I want a little bit of cash. So in here, Brutus has got all of his secret passcodes for some of the people that you might recognize from WAX, for example. So we have Any Observation, The Colony, shout out The Colony, Hydro from NFT Insider. We have, you know, we've got a few people. We've got Good Vibes from Good Vibes Mining. You know, we've got Dub Wizard, Sammy from Sammy Snake. You know, all of these different like people, and what the community can do if they want to support their favorite creator or their favorite community host or influencer or whatever, is they can use their creator code. And what Brutus will do for that is it will give you 10% off of your price. Now, what he also does is he gives the player 10% off, and then he gives the content creator 10% of the sale price as well. So the content creator gets a kickback, the player gets a discount, everybody's happy, Brutus makes some cash because he's selling his wares. And so he's really all about the word of mouth marketing. And so that's something that we've implemented, and Brutus is really happy with that. And that works for both the wax and the Zilver listings. So, you know, if you know a content creator that might want a secret code, we can speak to Brutus and see if we can get one set up.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. You added that. I mean, I love that feature of it, and maybe we might want to be on there too. That's exactly. Really cool, especially with the kickback too, and you're fostering just spreading the word and collaborating and stuff. You nailed everything on the head. You said it very well. I think it's a great concept with the zombie stuff too, like I was saying earlier, and with the team building, like you're saying, especially in the future as eras continue and you're going to have PvP and you're really going to start strategizing a lot more. You're actually it's almost like you're strategizing a real life zombie apocalypse without without the activeness of actually, physically doing things. But as far as decisions and things like that, it's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot more into this than what I thought too. And all your crafting and everything, you're crafting the items and discovering. That's really fun. I know some people really like to search and look for things and discover things, so that's a cool element too for that. We're going to do another Grubfish soon. We will have, after that, just casual, any last questions or anything more you want to cover. So we're not totally done yet, but people in the chat, you can join the Grubfish, and we'll do that next. So what are we looking at here now?
Oh, sorry. Whilst you was talking, I thought I'd just continue sharing the screen and just showing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your journey, yeah.
This is like the journey of like the eras. And so there's more detailed information about what's coming up. And then this is Era 6, so this is what I said about redacted, so high security clearance requested. And then they here look like you should not be reading this.
Nice. So whatever's after Era 6, we'll just have to wait for, but you got it planned out up until Era 6, which is great. Which will include, I guess, the PvP and what's the most stuff you have released here up until Era 6? What are some features you have there?
Yeah, so Era 3 is where we're at now. This has all been released now. So Era 4, Refuge. So we've got titles. So we have the Outbreak, and then we have like the initial survival stage, and then the Alliance. That's where we start introducing like these co-op team modes, and that's obviously supply runs. Then we have Era 3, which is Evolve, and that's how the infection, the virus is evolved and mutated, and that's where these bosses have come from. And then we have Refuge, Era 4, this is where buildings start coming into play. So buildings are released, player-owned game assets, very limited availability. Owners can open their door to other survivors to seek refuge. Refugee survivors will benefit from buffs and benefits from joining a building. Building owners can choose upgrades to work towards for better buffs and benefits. Refugees must work together to achieve the upgrades. And then also the game mechanic release, which will be the 3D map. So that'll be like a 3D, like a think Clash of Clans style map. Or I don't know if anyone was around for Prospectors or the Our Planet game that was released recently on mobile. Like that sort of top-down like map, sort of Google Map style 3D maps going to be coming in Era 4.
Cool.
So live gameplay map revolutionize the way we play ZOS. Because obviously at the minute it's like a menus clicker, but it's going to be turned into like a 3D visual experience.
An overhead map. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so the map will allow players to examine specific areas on the map that can be interactive with. The map will show all buildings, game modes, featured hotspots, etc. Then after Era 4, Era 5, so this is where it gets juicy. So game modes release Siege. Game mode release Siege, players, single player, mass multiplayer. So players are able to inspect buildings and launch an attack to steal valuable resources from the targeted buildings. So essentially, me and you, we're in our building together. We can see that next door are really close to finishing an upgrade. We go, now's the prime time to fight these guys. Let's go and take loads of their resource tokens because they're currently like 90% finished on this locked up upgrade. We go fight those guys. We smash them to smithereens and we take a load of their resource tokens, and that was like a really well executed plan. The rewards obviously like the resource tokens from the upgrades, and then the risks the survivors will take damage. Game mode release Raid, so this is our battle royale. So raid events will take place on buildings that are retained by the project. Players can team up, go it alone, or ignore the raid altogether. The rewards will be buildings, weapons, shields, silver, and resource tokens. So one of the really cool things that we're really trying to get through to people is that although buildings will be significantly rare compared to everything else that's in ZOS right now, like these will be like the land for ZOS. Okay. And what we'll actually do is we'll only release 75% of the buildings to the player base to either purchase, or through the land sale. 25% will be retained by us, and then of that 25%, let's say once a week or once every 10 days or 2 weeks, a building will become a hotspot on the map, and then everybody can go and submit their survivors and their weapons, their shields. They've got all their different like resources that they want to submit, and basically what that does is it sends a survivor off to try and conquer this building. and then everybody's survivors are all against each other. So it's every man for themselves. And then at the end of the event, one survivor reigns supreme, and they get the NFT for the building. So we're really trying to, although the buildings are going to be like super, super scarce, like really valuable assets, like the most valuable assets in the game, the concept of 25% of those being able to be won in game for like
almost like a battle royale type of situation.
Yeah, with huge prizes. Yeah,
wow.
With huge prizes.
Yeah, that's cool too. I like that. So yeah, wow, a lot coming up in these eras. You really got a lot in the works and planned, which is very exciting. And it seems like your community is very excited about it too. So that's really awesome to see. I'm gonna turn the screen share off, and we can come back to it here after the Grubfish with any kind of last talks or questions. What's the max supply on silver? Says somebody.
It's quite high. I'd have to double check the paper, but I believe it's 100 trillion. However, there's a reason for that, and that was because whilst we're rebalancing and we want to make sure the economy is stable, we also don't want to restrict ourselves into working in decimals. So we made the overall limit of silver quite high at 100 trillion. Let me just type that in the chat for the guy. It doesn't get released like that. It is purely limited on how many survivors are released, because only a certain amount of survivors in the game at any one time, because they're our bottleneck, they're our populace.
Gotcha.
If there's only 10,000 survivors, even if they all ran mythic weapons and mythic shields, they would never be able to release that 100 trillion. Like, it's just too much of it. So it's not like that's all going to get dumped onto the market one day. Like, this is a very labored point internally that we spend a lot of time working on for the economics of silver. So the same goes for the resource tokens. All very, because they're an in-game asset, we have in-game mechanics that dictate how much could get released. So the max supply isn't the be-all and end-all for the resource token and the silver tokenomics. In fact, it's something we are working on trying to make more clear to the community and understand the full concept behind silver and the resource tokens and why they are the way that they are. But for now, it's just best explained that the survivors are the limiting factor, not the tokens max supply.
Cool. King Kong asks, how do I get my survivor out of a battle? If I've started a battle and then I want my survivor to do runs, how would I finish the battle? Do you have to run away or defeat the boss?
Right. So no. So with battles, what you need to do is once you've submitted, it's like I say, it's an intermediate game mode. Once you've submitted a survivor weapon and shield into battles, you need to fight at least one boss and then heal and stamina up back to max health and max stamina, and then you can withdraw. The reason that we did this is because we didn't want people to be able to like fight the boss, use 1,000 health, use 250 stamina, and then withdraw it and then redeposit it. So you need to go back to full health and full stamina. Is the idea. You can buy, sorry, I'm just looking at different questions. You can buy silver on Alcor through the Wax Alcor pair.
Buy it on Alcor, yeah, and then you earn it by doing the team.
Yeah, or you can do the runs, multiplayer runs, and then silver that way. Cool.
Yeah, keep on the questions, guys. If you have them, we're gonna go ahead and move on to this Grubfish. 70 people in this bad boy. First through fifth, we'll get a food NFT. Let's do 10th, 20th, 30th. Wow, you got a lot of people here, huh? Let's do some more food NFTs. 10th, 20th, and 30th, it gets a food NFT. And then mystery boxes from the online end. 40th, 50th, 60th, 70th. We'll keep going by the 10s here. All right. So first through fifth, get a food NFT. 10th, 20th, 30th, food NFT. 40th, 50th, 60th, 70th a mystery box from the online end. And the biggest grub sploder will get a food NFT as well. Alright, so we got some prizes on this guy. The mystery boxes can have a range of different things from the online end. Well, online end, it's his boxes, but the contents can be various collections. Alright. Good luck! Good luck! And we will continue with these right after this. There they come! Oh, got us a whole board of grubs here. It's very cool. Thank you all for being here. Learning a bit about Zombie Outbreak Survival. Quite an exciting strategy game and what's to come. I can already imagine you guys are working together and scheming things. All the fans already scheming what buildings they're gonna get. Trying to find recipes, secret recipes. Very cool. Wow, look at all those bitty bits. Thanks, Diege. You don't gotta do that. Appreciate the cheers. Cheers to everybody for being here. As a reminder, our collab will last a whole week, so we have a puzzle game on ConsumerBreak where you can win a starter kit or a survivor booster pack. We also have the bounty block that also has 2 winners there. And then we had a password game on ConsumerBreak. The password is zombie, and you can earn a food NFT for doing that, just for solving the game. Get you some food. Heal your survivor. Keep them fed. You can't have hungry survivors. They won't be able to kill zombies. All right. Congratulations! Food item. A food NFT goes to Chick Ladoo, Diante Dezep, Mr. Madpile, Azekai's, PBBDYO. And also Master Rays, Casper, Break Drop, BR Care Drop. You all get a food NFT. And then a mystery box will go to 40th, who is... Oh, Diege. Diege gets a mystery box.
Nah, give it out. Give it to 41st.
41st is DJ2181. You'll get a mystery box. And then we got Asteroid Eater at 50th, Saboof at 60th, and 3XS MPL at 70th. You all will get a mystery box. Thanks for playing. So many people in these grubs. And looks like the biggest murderer of them all was Chucky this time with 13. Well done, Chucky. You get a food NFT as well. Shouts to Diege and Demi Berlin and Prof for giving it a shot. I'm going to hit the button again. You guys can rejoin again. Now, we're going to do numerous other grubfish before the end of the stream. And they will all have prizes from other collections now. So we got some of these other ones. Faded Monsuda will be next. And on and so forth. Starcadia. Who I didn't have in the logos. They're kind of newer, but I got some from them. Warsaken. Some different things. So go ahead and join. And we will be doing just this, just kind of a final section here. I'm going to turn screen share back on. If there was anything else you wanted to check out and look at. If we had any other questions.
There's not too much more to look at this moment in time. However, there are some things to cover. So we have just signed a partnership with our first partner collection to do some special events with, and it is none other than Alien Worlds. So we managed to secure a partnership with using their weapons and their shields in a limited time supply run for ZOS, that's going to be coming in January. And what that essentially is we're gonna put some storytelling to it. You know, the idea that not only is the apocalypse being caused by zombies, but you know, there's some mysterious tech at the military lab that's looking like some extraterrestrial tech at the military lab that's now been obviously, you know, displaced because of the apocalypse. There's no security there now. And so the rumors are that there's some of this tech over there and, you know, we need to go and find it. So the Alien Worlds NFTs will be in play for that. So the survivors will be able to get geared up with Alien Worlds weapons and shields and go and do that run. I think the run's for 90 days and there's going to be a full leaderboard system, and then people will earn TLM, which is obviously Alien Worlds currency, and they'll also be able to earn Silver, as well as some new weapons and shields that ZOS are going to be releasing as loot. So that's really exciting. That opens up the door to Alien Worlds and other project collaborations, etc. So we're really proud of that. That's going to be coming in January. We have... what else am I allowed to say?
What are you allowed to say? We'll get in trouble.
Alien World is huge. So
yeah,
Alien
that's really huge, and that's awesome. You got partnerships where you're integrating their NFT, their stuff, and their token too
definitely.
into your game. That's really, really awesome. I love that.
It's really important to us that we do a good job of that. And so, although we've got like these really defined eras of era 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're actually going to be releasing like an era 3.5. And that era 3.5 will be sort of pushed by the Alien Worlds collab. And what it'll allow us to do is, we've been sat on the idea of leaderboards for a while, and we've kind of been tracking stats at a survivor level. So we'll be able to tell who like the most like the dangerous survivor is because he's got the most zombie kills or whatever. We've got those stats in the background. But what we're actually going to do is we've not published those to the website yet. What we're actually going to do with Era 3.5 is we're going to give the website a little bit of a facelift. We're going to add the leaderboards. We're going to optimize some more of the menus and some of the settings. And we're also going to do a wallet-based leaderboard as well, so people can see who is in a real person, as in a real wallet, who's topping the charts for most damage done, most runs sent, you know, most damage dealt to the survivors. All of these trackable stats that we really like makes gaming fun and competitive. We're going to be releasing those alongside the leaderboards for Alien Worlds, because the Alien Worlds TLM will actually be released through a participation leaderboard for that limited time event. So that'll be fun. I think there's about $1,000 worth of TLM up for grabs during that event.
Wow.
And there'll also be a hell of a lot of ZOS NFTs, a hell of a lot of Silver. You know, there'll be food assets to be in as well. So we're going through that like optimization for Era 3.5, and then Era 4 is obviously all about getting this 3D map live, and then you'll see a huge transformation of the website again, because now it will feel like a game. Like, it will feel like a modern, you know, it won't just be a menus clicker, it'll be an interactive 3D resource management game. So we're really excited about that. That's what 2023 holds for us. We can't wait to start getting into it now. Some of the team are on holiday, vacation until the first week of January. So at the moment, we're only dealing with like bugs that get reported in. We're like on a bit of like a emergency only development during Christmas. But yeah, first week of January, we're back on it. We're going to be hitting the releases hard and fast, and hopefully get Era 3.5 out in January. And then it'll be all systems go to the interactive map systems and turning ZOS from a great concept into a great game.
That's awesome. Definitely looking forward to all that, for sure. In a battle for my survivors out of health, yeah, you have to use a med kit if he's completely out of health, right? And then if he's not completely out of health, then you can use the food.
Yeah, so if he goes right, so the idea of a resource management game is obviously to not let like your resources deplete, and the idea of health being a resource for your survivor, you can't let the health go to zero. So you need to heal before it gets to zero. Like, we give you all the information in the UI to say that you're going to take 50 damage, you're going to take 200 damage or whatever. So you need to anticipate, oh, I'm about to take 200 damage. Do I have enough health to survive that? No. Okay. let me heal up. But if you get to 0, it's going to cost you a medkit, and medkits ain't cheap. They're 200 silver. So, you know, you need to be managing those resources.
Yeah.
And no one ever said the apocalypse apologizes, right? Like, it's an unapologetic world out there. If you don't,
the zombies don't care. Zombies will come for you.
They'll kill you. They'll kill you. They don't care. They'll kill you. And so far so when we first launched, we released it with a maximum damage of 99, so nobody could die straight off the bat. Like, death wasn't activated. And then I think it was Era 2. Era 1, no death. Era 2, we released this death system where your survivor dies, you put a medkit on him, he heals, you then put some more food in him to bring him back up to 100 health, job done. In Era 3, that still stays the same. In Era 4, 5, we release a new type of death where the NFT gets burnt. So it'll be only... So again, the eras do a very good job of the supply runs are a beginner game mode. That gives you the whole concept of resource management. The battles and the crafting is intermediate. We would not suggest people play those unless they've become familiar with the concept of the supply runs, because battles and crafting don't apologize the way that supply runs do. And then when we get into like Siege and Raid, which are these PvP, Battle Royale, like these are really, really like relentless game modes. And so we really don't want people playing those like straight off the bat. Like, play the game first, understand that beginner, intermediate game modes, because if you mess up on one of those game modes that are coming out in Era 5, that survivor will get destroyed. Like, you will not be able to recover him. And we know people are going to be really mad at this. But there's big prizes to be won. There's big like success, big trophies, big resources. You know, people can literally win buildings, which are going to be like super scarce. Like, with those big rewards come big risks, and those survivors that are going in there ain't necessarily coming out. So
they're
like,
not
there's going to be warning symbols all over. Yeah, there's going to be warning symbols like, do not enter this game mode unless you are comfortable with the fact that your survivor might die. So we're going to introduce this hard and like soft death system, which this is soft right now, and then hard is like they ain't no coming back from that death. That is death. So
okay,
that NFT death.
That makes sense. Thank you for all the cheers. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Well, yeah, for sure. Keep up the great work, Zos and Diege. Yeah, this makes sense. You need to start doing the runs, get the hang of it before you start the higher eras and different things. And that goes back to what we're saying. That gives the people that have been doing that and they have all their items and the experience, that gives them more to do with new eras. But new people should probably just start at the beginning and kind of get the hang of it first. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
King Kong suggests maybe some kind of guide that explains that.
Yeah, we're going to put... So when you go into crafting, there's a guide that pops up straight off the bat. We're going to do the exact same for battles. It's not in place right now. I can only apologize for that. It should be in place. It's going to be in place next week. It's going to be one of the first things that we do next week.
Okay. Well, thanks for the suggestions, though. And that goes with any others. Just suggest in their Discord. They're active in there and are listening to feedback. So they're always open
absolutely.
to it.
And this is another thing that we like to pride ourselves on. The one thing that we saw in Wax that made us really push ZOS and like create this game was the shortcomings of other projects that we were playing that we didn't feel were doing things right. For example, listening to customer feedback, listening to player feedback, and different things like that. One thing that we've really optimized in our back end and in our internal processes is if you use our report bug feature in Discord or suggestions Discord feature, that gets sent into our internal systems and gets assigned to a team member. That team member then becomes the champion of that action, and then that action then gets complete or closed out, either gets actually actioned. So it goes for review by the champion. We then that person reviews it, understands if it's like an emergency bug that needs fixing ASAP, or if it's something that can be wrapped up into next week's patch or the next era or whatever. and then, or if it's like a non-issue because it's wrapped up somewhere else and we fix it somewhere else or whatever, and then that then goes to their development. They develop it, finish it, finalize it. That then gets sent for peer review in the team, and then that gets launched. So we've really tried to own in on this idea that the customer feedback, the player feedback, is absolutely a driving force into the things that we do. We wouldn't have the website that we have right now if it wasn't for the customer feedback. We have lots of improvements that we never anticipated, and I can give you a perfect example. So on the runs page, on solo, this used to look, let me see if I can actually find a picture. This used to be one at a time. So this here was like one at a time, and I do have a picture. Evolution of Source. There we go. This is what it used to look like. So this is what supply runs used to look like, and it was very much select the weapon, select the shield, select the weapon, select the duration on the drop down here. That's what we launched with. It was one at a time per transaction. It was only because of consumer feedback that we've now got this whole system where we can add all of these different loadouts. And that came from a suggestion in Discord. We looked at it, we understand why that was going to be beneficial for players, and there you have it. We implemented it. And that's a perfect example of why customer feedback is important to us.
I love that. And I love collections that are so open to that, and also to come on to streams like this and do AMAs and really be transparent about everything and answer everything. It's really, really awesome that you're focusing on that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very important. Like, I've been a player for my entire life, and seeing the generations of consoles coming out, and the teams that really get it right are the teams that listen to the feedback, whether that be at the beta stage or the alpha stage. And then obviously nowadays with social media, etc., like people that really listen to consumer thought and consumer feedback, and then like trends and hopping on the right trends and understanding in-game mechanics and like economies and all that sort of stuff. Those are the teams that do really well. The teams that don't do too well are the teams that go, no, this was my vision and this is what we're sticking to.
Yeah. You gotta listen. You gotta listen to your customer. That goes with any product, really. If you're gonna, if you have something in your head as a creator, and you think this is the best way about it, and this is the only way, you're not gonna grow, because your customers will have different thoughts, and if they don't think that, then they're not gonna use it, and that's how it goes. So, new products, creations, things, creators, listening to the feedback and applying it is a very, very good thing, and a positive sign too that it's a good project that's doing all that they can to make the project good. So
yeah, I mean, people that fail are the people that go, no, I'm sticking to my guns. This is exactly what I'm doing. I'm not willing to adapt. And then we see it over the course of history. If you don't adapt, you die. So. Yeah. Again,
especially
with the apocalypse,
in a space like this too, a crypto space, like there's so much that changes every year, even for us, where we don't really know some things year to year. So we have to just adapt and go with the space as well and the community in order to.
Well, a month in crypto is a year in real life. Like
exactly.
That's how much it changes, and that's how fast things change. So, yeah, we're really happy with where we're at. We're really happy with what's coming out. We've just come off the back of a really successful WAX ambassador campaign. That was really positive for us. Era 3 got released. We was at NFT London. We spoke at NFT London. We made some great contacts at NFT London. We went to the NFT Community Day in Holland and sort of had a bit of a pitch there. It's been crazy. We're going to NFT NYC in April. We're going to try and get to Game Developer Conference in San Francisco in March, but that's looking unlikely right now. Like we're really getting out there and sort of, we want to take the best of Web 2 and implement it with the best of Web 3, bring it all together and have one big happy family. That's the plan. And we're on our way to get there. There's going to be challenges. The bear market's hitting a lot of people right now. There's going to be some challenges, but we keep pushing on, and we keep going on our supply runs, and we keep coming back with new stuff. So that's where we're at right now, and we're happy with that.
That's awesome. Great. King Kong had some questions that are being answered. Dead Frontier, do you know what that is, or is it an inspiration?
No, Dead Frontier is not something I've heard of. Inspirations for ZOS definitely came from The Walking Dead, Resident Evil, Minecraft for crafting stuff. You know, you've got Rust as well. That's a really good survival campaign. You've got Tarkov, Left 4 Dead, Our Planet, obviously for the crypto side of things, and then the 3D map will be, you know, any top-down like sort of builder game. So we've looked at a lot of different concepts. Like we built like this huge business case study process where we went through and looked at like, this is the best bit of this game, and this is a great resource management game, and these did their in-game economy really, really well, and these weren't too great. And we went through that all at the R&D stage, developed this entire concept. It took us like 6 months to develop the entire blueprint of ZOS, and then even then, going back to customer feedback, that's been edited and changed based on what the feedback from the players was saying. So our initial concept was in Era 3, we was interacting and releasing companions. So like an alligator on a chain and like a cheetah, like all these different like beasts, like companions, like alligators, you know, all your usual tropes that you see, like a lion on a chain, things like that. And then they were going to give boosts and stuff, and ultimately they got removed because they weren't on the ZOS brand, the way that ZOS is, and the way that it was being created, and the way that the customers were saying, you know, the players and the communities were going down this certain path, and we could see very quickly that the beasts of burden type thing, the idea of like RuneScape companions weren't gonna fit, so that got removed. And like, if I was like that, I loved that idea. I really wanted like this companion system, and if I would have stuck to my guns and done that, I would have upset a lot of people, because I could tell that that's not the way that the game was heading, and it was like organically growing a different way. So if I'd have stuck to my guns and done that, then we don't know where we would be now. So we adapted, we changed, we took on the feedback, and we took it out of the roadmap and took it out of the blueprint altogether. So you know, there's different things that changed over time, but the influences are definitely there. You know, you got RuneScape, World of Warcraft, EVE Online, very big influence for the PvP battles that we're going to be having. Yeah, there's loads.
Cool.
I mean, there's so many case studies in Web 2. Really good games.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You really covered a lot. You said a lot of very good info. We've answered a lot of questions. If anybody has more, it's your last chance to do it on the stream. Otherwise, you can hit up their Discord and give the feedback, and definitely look forward to the future and what's to come. There's some more cheers from Diege. Thanks, Diege, for the cheers. Woo! Yeah, look forward to what's coming and all the announcements when your new eras come. Maybe we'll even see you at NFTopia. We'll look further deep into that. That's the new Digicon, January 20th, where there's booths and things. Well, yeah. And we'll keep and our collab continues for a week, guys. So you can enter that. Anybody that's new to Zombie Outbreak Survival, maybe you want to look more into it. You know, you don't, especially if you win something. Heck, the person that wins a starter kit, you literally have what you need to start. So maybe you can get in there and just try it out and see, you know, at least give it a shot. Try out the UI and see what it's like and stuff like that. Get into the community, do some trading, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's been great having you. Do you have any other last words for the fam, or anything else that you haven't covered?
No, I mean, I see Wheezy just asked a question there. Do you mention another survivor? Yeah, so along with the Alien Worlds collab, there will be a little drop there for a new Alien Worlds inspired survivor. I think she's going to be called Jasmine, and she's going to be this idea of like she's I think she's going to be 18 or 21, and she's going to be like, because all the survivors are auto-generative as well. I didn't mention it, but every single survivor, there's like 5 base model survivors, and every single one of them has a different outfit. And so Jazz is going to focus on like spacesuits, astronaut memorabilia, like things like that, like NASA-esque, SpaceX style type spacesuits, and different like I Love Rockets t-shirts, that sort of stuff. So that's who she's going to be. And yeah, so she'll be released alongside like an Alien Worlds themed starter pack, which will allow people to get started. So the idea with them packs will be you get a survivor and you get one of the new types of weapons and shields. So that if you're a Alien Worlds organic player and not a ZOS player, and you want to try ZOS outside of just the Alien Worlds event with the Alien Worlds weapons and shields, you could buy these starter packs, and then you'll be able to play the entire ZOS game rather than just the limited event. So they'll be coming. So Jasmine's coming soon. We're really excited about her. And yeah, nothing else to mention. Just come join the Discord. We're really friendly. We've got some great, like, truly, and I genuinely mean this. I don't think there's a better community from a game perspective on WAX that's got as helpful community members that aren't mods, aren't admins, nothing to do with the team. If you go into our Discord, ask a question, within 20 minutes, an hour, you will have a clear, concise response from somebody.
I love
if it's
that.
not me, it's a player, and that is truly valuable to us. And we absolutely love it. I wake up on a morning, I look at the Discord, and there's been a conversation overnight, and there's nothing left unanswered. Like everything's been covered by someone else in a different time zone. It's perfect. It's brilliant for me.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, come join the Discord. Follow us on Twitter. Come play the game. Like it's only going to get better, and now's the perfect time to join. Things are low. The bear market's hit everybody. Think NFTs are cheap to buy. Come get involved. The barrier to entry is really low. We've got some really incredible collabs coming up, and things are only going to get better and more interactive and more showbiz.
Absolutely. and yeah, the bear market, that is a positive of a bear market is the people that are here now. We're here kind of on the low end, and when things pick up again, we'll be here. You'll be ahead of them. So now is a good time to jump into really any of the WAX games that are really doing things and continuing to build through this year. That really shows that they're here to stay. So that's a very positive thing too.
Absolutely.
And the prizes, they'll be sent out by tomorrow, guys. So overnight, you'll have them. If you won on the Grubfish, or if you solved that password game, you'll get also a food NFT, and that'll be by tomorrow. King Kong's asking about med kits, and there's different types, but there's only one med kit somebody answered.
No, so there's only one med kit. I think he's getting confused. The creator codes are just a referral code, like a support the creator system. So if you recognize anybody on there and you want to give them 10% of what you spend in the store, then select their code. They will receive 10%, and you also get 10% off. So if it's 100 wax or 100 silver, you will pay 90, and then the creator will receive 9.
Okay, so you're actually choosing the referral creator. There is what you're doing. It's all the same. It's all the same med kit though. Okay. Cool. Well, all right. I'm gonna let you be, Diege. Over there in the UK, getting late for you. But anybody that has questions or suggestions, you can, like we say, you can go in their Discord and do that. They're very active. Their community will help as well, not just Diege. And we'll leave it at that. I appreciate you coming on, going through all of this, explaining it in a very easy way to understand too for us noobs. So maybe some new folks can go and join in, and hopefully can win something if you were wanting it as well.
Awesome. Thank you ever so much for having me.
For sure. So have a good one there.
Bye for now.